Hi, Maureen. This is energy medicine yoga. So, drawing or connecting yoga with ancient energy traditions. And today we're going to pull in Chinese medicine. In Chinese medicine, they use the five element theory, and those five elements of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal are the elements that make up the material world on a macro level. And then, likewise, on a micro level, those same five elements exist within us. And they're constantly changing, recalibrating, and evolving. Chinese medicine uses the five element theory to interpret the relationship between physiology and pathology, both within our body and in the natural environment. Um, they, each element is connected to a season. So we're in autumn, and this is all about the metal element. And each element will pair two organs, yin and a yang, to connect and complement one another. And in the metal element, it focuses on the lung element, which is yin, and large intestine, which is the yang element. It's also connected to the color white. So you'll be thinking about foods that are white: pears, cauliflower, almonds, oatmeal. And when metal element is in balance, it's about letting go. And when it's out of balance, it's about the prevailing emotion is grief. So that's a lot of information, just sprinkling it in. If you want to learn more about it, you can look that up. We're going to weave some of these things into this yoga practice. And just holding that principle that if we learn the language of energy, we learn the language of our body. So keep an open mind. Just move gently before we come into stillness. Move in any way to kind of come into your body, release any tension that you've been holding. And then we'll come into stillness and we'll center and connect to our breath. The mudra that I want to share today is connecting the tip of the thumb to the tip of the first finger. So the thumb is your lung, that is the beginning of the lung meridian, and the first finger is associated with the large intestine. So by connecting the tips of those two fingers, you are basically connecting and creating a circuit. I invite you to place hands, palms face down, connect the first tip of the first finger to the tip of the thumb, and come into a comfortable seated position, Sukhasana. And to draw your attention inward, which is what this season is all about, is that shifting from an outward flow of energy from summer and fire element into the yin cycle of fall, where you turn inward and prepare for winter. I want you to lower your gaze and close your eyes if you're comfortable. And just take in a nice big deep breath. And sweeping exhale out, just to kind of give yourself a moment to land on your mat, to return to your body. And then take your attention to include your entire body and really check in, tune in to your posture. Just feel where your weight is supported by the ground. Feel the sit bones are connected. The bottoms of your thighs, your knees. Consider it a tripod. The base is a tripod, stable, steady. And then draw your attention to your spine and encourage it to draw it nice and tall. Not rounding, but just kind of rising out of your stable base, opening across the front of your body to allow the air to flow freely, and then checking in with your head. There's a tendency for us to have the head lean forward. Try to orient your ears over your shoulders. And then for a breath practice, the pranayama, I'm just going to encourage an association, that you associate the inhale with movement from the base of the spine up through the crown. And then associate each exhale, moving down the spine, right down to your pelvis. And so I just want you to associate that with that. Let your attention follow the breath in Inhale up the spine and exhale down the spine. There's no timing. You're just following your own rhythm, but you are connecting and letting attention rest on the breath, be on that fine focus point. And just a little more reflection on the Chinese element of metal. Just recognizing every element has a pair of organs complementing each other. And so I mentioned the lung is the yin meridian, and that lung it controls our respiration. It also helps regulate the flow of water in our body. I'm just giving you this reflection while you're maintaining your attention flowing up and down the spine. And the large intestine, which is the yang, counterbalance, and that takes care of releasing waste in our bodies. And so these organs process what our body no longer needs so that we can keep only what is nourishing and essential. Energetically, the two organs work together so that we can let go and make space for the new. And one more breath cycle, full breath in, tracing your attention up the spine on the inhale. And slowly letting your attention move down the spine on your exhale. And when you've completed that exhale, release the breath practice, return to your normal pace of breath. Bring your hands to meet at your heart in Anjali Mudra. I invite you to set an intention for this practice. And whatever you set as your personal intention, let's also set a group intention of the metal element being imbalanced, of that being open to softening our grip, to letting go of what no longer serves us, and opening ourselves to receive something new. Take a big deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Release your hands to your thighs and blink your eyes open. Hands go off to the side, palms face forward. And really check in with your posture that you're rooting down through sit bones. Pull the core in. And inhale, arms out wide and up high. And just let these 3 sun breaths gently warm you up. Looking up. And then when you're ready to exhale, turn your palms away and slowly exhale. Let these 3 sun breaths really bring you into your body. Inhale, and really follow the length of and timing of your breath. Our arms might be at different heights. Our breaths might be different. And exhale when you're ready. And the last one. Let your ribs expand, press down through sit bones, reach up nice and tall through the spine, and turn your palms away and slowly lower it back down. Keep the space that you created in your spine. Again, press down through sit bones, pull the core in. Inhale, arms up overhead. Let the hands interlace and just the first finger and the thumbs touch for temple mudra. And then reach up nice and tall. And feel the spine lengthen, but soften through the shoulders. Let them soften just a little bit. And then interlace all fingers and press your palms up and look up. And just feel that stretch. And then release as you exhale. Hands come behind the head and stay interlaced. Pull the elbows back. And we're going to bow forward and round the spine and point elbows down. So take a breath in, lift up, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale. Point the elbows down toward the ground, round the spine, chin to chest, like a seated cat-cow. Hold and complete that exhale. And when you're ready for an inhale, you begin to reverse it. Lengthen the spine, lift the chin, pull elbows back, lift up through the heart. And exhale, let's go back. Curl forward, elbows point down, round the spine, chin to chest. Finish your exhale. And then inhale, rise. Reverse, lengthen, open, press elbows back, and release, come to a neutral spine, and lift the arms up overhead. And now bend your left elbow, right hand touches that elbow. And I want you to pull the elbow and really feel this lat open up. And then I'm going to invite you to just gently side bend to the right. And just lean into this. Doesn't have to be your biggest opening. You're just adding a little to this shoulder opening. Come on back upright. Release arms up overhead and reverse. So now it's right elbow bends, left hand on top of that. And first just pull it behind your head to whatever degree your body allows. If your shoulder is sore, you can bring it down to shoulder height in front of your body, in front of your face. And then add to it with a little side bend. So really find your foundation, press down through sit bones, and then side bend. You can add to this by turning toward your right elbow and pressing your head into the forearm. It just adds a little to it. And then release and come back to a vertical spine, arms up overhead, and hands release. And roll your shoulders up and back. Good, now let that go and add some neck circles. Go slow. And start off small circles, about 3 in each direction. Let it feel good, don't go too far. When you've done 3 circles, reverse. And when you're done with those, come on back upright and let's twist. Hands in front of you, pull the cord in. Inhale, lift up nice and tall, nice tall, long spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Hands descend to find leverage and turn. Pull your belly to the spine, lift up through the heart. Keep breathing as you hold your body in the pose. And then release, come forward. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Find some points for your hands as you turn. And then draw your belly into the spine. Lift up through the heart and keep breathing. Twist is so beneficial to you. And release and let it go. Let's do some side bends. Inhale, arms up in front of you to lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, right hand goes over. And I want you to lean and try to get that right elbow a little closer to the ground. Soften, let this top arm be over your ear. Only going to where it feels good. And inhale, rise up nice and tall. Exhale, hand goes down to the left. Just try to find that left elbow a little closer to the ground. That right arm is over your ear and your side bending. If this hip pops up, try to balance it and press it down. And then inhale, rise up nice and tall. Hands touch. Exhale them to your heart and let it go. Come on to all fours. If you have a towel, I should have told you at the beginning, it's helpful to have a towel, folded towel to sit on to lift your hips and to go underneath your knees. You can always pause the video and go get that. Come onto all fours and just be playful. Just have a little bit of free form. Do whatever feels good to your body in this position. Go forward, backward, left, right. Curve the spine. Anything that feels good. Just have a little fun. And take as long as you like in the free form. And then come back and meet. We'll meet on the rails. Spread your hands out wide like a starfish. The hands are slightly forward of the shoulders. Knees are under hips and toes are tucked. And then just move through your cat-cow. The inhale, you lift the sit bones, lower the belly, and push the heart through the gateway of the shoulders. And on the exhale, you reverse that. Lift the back up. Point the tailbone down, chin to chest, curl. It's almost like you're pulling the chin towards the pubic bone. Exhale completely, and then inhale, reverse. I want you to do 3 of those. Follow your breath. This is the best pose to see that breath leads movement. And you're taking your spine to maximum range of movement, forward and backward. This is a good thing to do. We did a version of this as we were seated with our hands behind our head. Inhale, this is cow back. And exhale, cat back. And eventually we meet back in neutral table with a long spine. We're going to do, just take that right leg back and push the heel long so you wake up the calf. And then lift that leg up and take it across and off to the opposite side of the mat, about 6 inches off. You're on the ball of the foot. Take a breath in, no action, and then exhale, turn to look at that right foot that's now on the left side of your mat. Feel it as a whole right side body stretch. And then come back to center with your head, lift the foot up, bring it back in alignment with the right hip, and then bend the knee. You're back in table pose. Same thing other side, take a left foot back, press the heel long, and just notice how that feels on your calf. And then lift that left leg up, take it over the midline, cross the midline down off the right side of your mat. Take a breath in, exhale, turn to look at that left foot on the right side of your mat. And breathe and feel that from ankle through to crown of your head, and then pull your head back to center, and then pull the left leg back to center. And your knees come in alignment underneath hips. Let's wake up our hips. Take the left leg long or out wide, toes point forward, heel touches the ground, and then we're gonna do puppy pose with our arms. So hands walk long, and you lower your heart a little closer so that arms are framing ears, heart's a little closer to the ground. And then let the hands really connect to the earth and try to pull you forward. And your hips pull the opposite way toward your right heel. This is puppy pose. It's a version of downward facing dog, beautiful length to the spine. And we're opening the hip. And then let it go as you walk hands back under shoulders, and left knee comes back under hip. Same thing on the side. Send, I'm going to do it this way so you can just see it from a different angle. Send your right leg out wide. Your hands start underneath your shoulders. Walk those hands forward. When the arms are fully extended and your heart is closer to the ground but not touching, same with your forehead, your hands try to pull you forward, but your hips pull backward toward that left heel, and you lengthen through the spine, keep breathing, and you're opening this right hip. Try to keep those hips level, even though I've taken you in this asymmetric pose. This is puppy pose with a hip opener. And then walk hands back underneath shoulders and knees back underneath hips. And now let's flow. Just a gentle movement from table to modified child to cobra. So here we are in table pose. Inhale. And then exhale, hips to heels. You can release the curled toes. Touch the forehead down. Really a lot of important energy points right there at the center of the forehead. And inhale back up to table. Let the hips keep moving forward and down as you come into modification of cobra. Your body's still warming up, so just tune in and make this gentle. Inhale to table. Exhale to modified child's pose. Touch your forehead down to the ground. Inhale to table. Exhale, lower the hips down and come into cobra. Maybe you add to it. Press the hips down and lift the heart up. And last one. Inhale to table. Exhale to modified child's pose. Hips to heels, forehead to the floor. Inhale to table. And this time I'd like you to tuck the toes and lift the hips up for downward facing dog. And just be gentle here, just first down dog of the day. I'm not going to give you that warm up of the heels. I'm going to invite you right into plank. And hold in plank and squeeze. Activate all your muscles. Draw it all to the midline. And exhale up, downward facing dog. And then warm up the body. Go ahead and walk the dog. One heel down and the opposite knee bends. Check in with your hands that they're spread out wide like a starfish. Press into finger mounds and fingertips to distribute weight off of your wrists. Check in with your hips and swing them side to side, just waking up the side body. And then check in with your head. And a big shake, yes. Let go of some tension there. And a big shake, no. Turn to look so that the nose goes towards the biceps. And then release. And breathe. And bend your legs. And walk your hands to your feet or the other way around. You can move the blanket off if you do have one. And find yourself in a forward fold. Bend your knees. Let these hamstrings warm up slowly. I invite you to grab opposite arms and let the body hang. And to encourage this, sway back and forth. And let this be easy and loose, and let the gravity of your upper body just hang down, and that begins to open and lengthen the hamstrings, your low back, and your shoulders. And then come to stillness. Release the elbows. Bring your hands to your hips. Engage as you pull your belly to the spine. Press down through your feet. Lift your spine up and arms come up overhead. Hands touch. Exhale them to your heart and release. Shake it all out. Now that you're standing up, roll your shoulders. And let's do the energy medicine yoga wake up. 2 fingers meet the thumbs. Find where your collarbones almost meet. Come down an inch and over an inch. It's just a feeling in terms of where you land. Everybody's a little bit different, but it's a little indentation is where. And what we're gonna do is tap. And for this wake up, we breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. We're clearing stagnant energy, and you tap vigorously. All right, I'll walk you through it. It takes about 3 minutes. Begin tapping right where I told you. That's the end of the kidney meridian, K27. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. That's the hardest thing to remember for this wake up, but that's your job while I explain what we're doing. This is the end of the kidney meridian. This is the exit point for the kidney meridian. It does what it does its function, and then it releases the weight. So breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Tapping here activates all of your meridians. Meridians are like this invisible energy highway associated with those organs that we talked about. Second point to tap in the energy wake up is right about the center of your sternum. With one hand, begin tapping, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. You should hear this. It sounds like a hollow thump. This is associated with the thymus in Chinese medicine. It's an immune boost. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then third point is right here at the upper side ribs. You can use the inside of your fist or those big fingers, or if it's sore, or tender, you can circle. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. This is the end of the spleen meridian. It's all about metabolism. So take in what you need and send out the rest. And last of the points for tapping is right underneath the eyes, a delicate area. It's on the bone, the orbital bone, not the tender, soft tissue. So just lightly rolling your fingers on this bone, this orbital bone, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. This is the beginning of the stomach meridian, and it's very grounding. Shake your hands off, palms face down. And now lift the knee, touch the same hand. Just do this a couple times. It's the homolateral energy pattern, and our body does not prefer that. So dust your hands off, shake it off, acknowledge we sometimes slide into that, and then begin to do the crossover. So touching the opposite knee. If your balance is good, then turn your head and add to this. This is the way we walk. This is the crossover pattern of the body that evidences itself in our DNA pattern and the helix, in our vision, and the way we move with efficiency. You can add to it by touching ankles, or you can add to it by touching behind. You do that twice as long as you do the homolateral pattern, maybe even 4 times as long. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, and slow it down and let it go. Bring hands one on top of the other at the base of your torso. Call to mind your intention. On an inhale, draw fingertips, the breath, and your intention up through your central meridian, overhead. Exhale, turn palms away and smooth it out. Think of this as embodying your intention. On an inhale, fingertips, your breath, your intention up through the central meridian. Exhale, smooth it out.
Last one. And finish the wake up with one finger on your navel, one finger at the center of your forehead. Lightly press in and lift up as you breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Keep that breath pattern. You are connecting your central meridian with your governing meridian, like a circuit, amplifying the energy. Last one. And release and let it go. Let's do sun salutations. If you have blocks, use them. If you don't have blocks, then you're fine. You can do without, standing at the top of your mat. Sun salutations are a great way to organize all of our energy and get it moving forward. Energy wants to move. Energy needs space to move. Energy likes to move in certain patterns, which is forward and the crossover pattern. And so we use the sun salutation to do all of that. Standing in mountain pose, your feet are like the equal sign, about hips width distance apart. Legs are engaged, core is lifted and engaged. Point the tailbone down, lift your heart up, and inhale, arms out wide and up high. As you look up, Urdhva, reach up nice and tall. Turn your palms away, exhale, hinge at the hips and bow. Come all the way down into a forward fold as you lift your hips up and point the crown of the head down. Add a bend to your knees if there's a tightness in hamstrings. Then inhale, lift up halfway, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana, long legs, long arms, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Hands can touch the blocks or frame the feet as you step the right foot back, straight leg lunge. Lower the hips, lift the heart, light fingertips. And then step back, downward facing dog. And stay here for a breath or two and deepen in this pose. As you lift your hips up and press the weight back towards the heels. Spread your hands out wide like a starfish and breathe. On your next inhale, shift forward to plank. Engage all your muscles, squeeze everything. Strong shoulders, push the heels back. And then exhale, lower. Your knees can touch the ground for a half plank, or you can come down in full plank. Keep elbows close to ribs. Release your weight, tops of feet touch down. Firm legs as you inhale, lift your heart up, keep elbows bent. Baby Cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes. Inhale, you can press up through table or press up through plank to meet in downward facing dog. The mat's moving. And breathe, stay here, deepen this pose, lift your hips up, lower your heels a little closer to the ground. Arms frame the ears, pull your ribs towards your thighs, and slow your heart rate down. On an inhale, right leg rises behind you, lengthen it. Exhale, bend the right knee, pull it to your ribs, step it forward. Take your time. And then lower your hips. Lift your heart, be light on fingers, and then press off back foot to join the front foot. Uttanasana, forward fold, lift hips, point the crown of the head down, and then press down through feet, pull the belly to the spine, and inhale, rise all the way up, look up. Hands touch, exhale them to your heart, and lower. Let's go again. Inhale, arms out and up. Look up, Urdhva. And now for this one, I'd like to invite you to do the Celtic weave. As you hinge at the hips, you're making a figure 8 with your wrists lightly, loosely, and bowing down forward into your Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, and really lengthen. Reach from tailbone up through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and step the left foot back, straight leg lunge. Hips lower, heart lifts. And then I'm going to invite you to lower that back left knee down to the ground. Left hand comes forward of the front big toe. Right hand to right hip as you twist. And lift that arm up. Look up if that's okay with your neck. Add some wrist circles to that right hand. And then exhale, untwist. Hands frame the foot. Back knee lifts. Step back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Savasana, and slow your heart rate by slowing your breath. Come into your deepest downward facing dog. Feel that spine lengthen, feel the back hamstrings lengthen, and press your heels down to the ground. And then inhale, shift the body forward into plank and feel the lines. Line of energy from your heel up through the crown of your head, and exhale, lower. Once your body touches the ground, tops of the feet touch, and inhale, you might lengthen the arms and come into full cobra. Otherwise, you can stay in baby cobra with bent elbows. And exhale, lower. Tuck your toes, and we meet in downward facing dog. And breathe. Taking in the breath, letting it move from head to toe, and then back up again. This time, left leg lifts up, lengthen it. Exhale, bend the left knee, pull it to your ribs, and step it forward. Lower hips, lift heart, light fingers, and then right knee lowers. Left hand to left hip. It's helpful to bring this right hand forward to the big toe to lengthen your spine. Twist. Bring the right ribs down to the ground, left ribs up to the ceiling, and then lift the left arm up. And breathe, look up. Add some wrist circles. Release the twist, hands frame the front foot, back knee lifts, press off back foot to join front foot, and you're in your forward fold. Stay here for an extra breath. Lift up through the hips, point the crown of the head down, and really absorb the benefits of this inversion. And now, press down through feet, pull the belly in, and reverse swan dive, arms out wide and up high. Press down through feet and reach up through your hands as you look up. Hands touch. Exhale them to your heart and let it go. I'm going to ask you to forward fold. Just hinge at the hips. Come back down. Find your Uttanasana. Your hands can touch wherever serves you. Might be higher up on the legs. But lift up through the hips and point the crown of the head down. Let's grab opposite elbows and just check in with that hang, that loose, passive stretch. You're invited to sway left and right. Check in. Is it a little bit different now that we've moved through our sun salutations? And then I invite you to bring your hands to your sacrum, interlace, and lift those hands away from your spine for a shoulder opening. And just take them to as far away from your body as is okay for your shoulders. And breathe here. Let gravity help open your shoulders. And then bring the hands back down to touch the sacrum. Now place the hands to touch the sacrum and bend your knees deeply. And then I invite you to circle. Circling the sacrum. This is one of the most powerful energy points on the body. It's called the Ming Men point. It doesn't matter which direction you circle. And then let's come into chair pose. So release your hands with knees deeply bent. Arms lift up to frame your ears. And try to add a little adjustment to this by pulling your belly to the spine and lifting your heart up. To try to have that rectangular spine with 2 sit bones and 2 shoulder blades. And breathe. And now bring your hands to Anjali Mudra in chair pose. And I'm going to ask you to turn the right palm up and the left palm down to the ground. As you press those arms away and lengthen up tall through the spine, look up to the right hand. This is called connecting heaven and earth. Exhale, back to chair pose and hands in Anjali Mudra. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So the left palm turns up. Right palm turns down. As you lengthen through the spine, you extend the arms and you look up left. Exhale, chair pose, Anjali Mudra. Let's take the right arm up. Press the left hand down. Lengthen up tall through the spine and look up to the right. Exhale, Anjali Mudra, chair pose. And this time it's the left palm presses up. Right palm presses down. You look up to the left. And then you bring both hands to Anjali Mudra as you stand in Tadasana. Breath in and breath out. And release your hands. Let's do our balance pose. Tree pose. I invite you to have the triple warmer hold. If that is constricting or makes you lose your balance, then let go of the hold. I'll just introduce it. Take left hand to touch right ribs, and right hand touches just above the elbow. So you're holding two energy points. It's meant to calm the triple warmer. Triple warmer is responsible for your fight or flight. Shift your weight to the right foot. Become light on your left. Draw that knee away from the midline, and you might keep a big toe touching the ground. Wherever you choose, just keep the bent leg heel touching the standing leg. Or you can lift it up to the calf, or you can bring it up to the inner thigh. Wherever you choose, you're adding tension. So press that bent leg foot into the anchor leg, and try to keep this anchor leg nice and strong rather than bowing out to the left or the right. So and nice and aligned, and add the tension. Keep the tension in your stomach. Your arms are active and holding these triple warmer energy points, and you lift up through the heart rather than curling forward. And you breathe. You find your eyes focused on a static point on the wall. That's referred to as a drishti in yoga. That gives you a lot of stability and balance. And if you want, you can change your arm position. You could come into Temple Mudra, or really whatever serves you. And then eventually you let it go, and you let the leg go, and you release it all. And you wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let the breath flow through you. Sometimes we hold the breath in balance poses, but really don't want to. We want to really keep the breath flowing and use the breath to help sustain us in challenging poses. So now it's our left leg is our standing leg. Let's see. Yeah, do the opposite. So your right arm will touch your left rib. Left hand will touch the outside of the elbow. Become light on your right leg and draw it away from the midline. And just check in and see when the big toe touches the ground, it gives you stability, so you can stay there. You can come up to the calf, or you could come up to the inner thigh. Each side is different, and you won't know what works for you until you experiment with it. So be willing to experiment and fail, and then try something else. All right, and when you're ready, I want you to add the tension, press the bent leg foot into the standing leg. Try to keep this left side of your body nice and strong and tall. Lift up through the heart. Feel the muscles activating. Add the drishti, a static point on the wall. Let the breath keep moving through you. And then release your bind and try a different arm position. Fill out. And if something changes, anything that we change will challenge our balance. And then we build the pose again. And be willing to go in and out of poses and hold them for as long as serves you. And eventually let them go and release. And really take the time to let it all go. Big breath in, big breath out. Have just as much of a priority of releasing a pose as you put into getting into a pose. I want to do the spinal suspension twist now. So step wide. Sometimes I call this the third base umpire position. So bend your knees, let the feet be parallel. Bend your knees, put weight goes down and to point the tailbone down. Hands on the knees, broad shoulders. And then we're going to do, it's called the spinal suspension twist. So let's take the left shoulder down in between the knees as you turn to look at your right shoulder. All right, so creating quite a lot of space. Pull your belly in. Take a breath in, exhale. Left shoulder goes down between the knees as you turn to look at your right shoulder. This beautiful elongation of the spine. You're creating space and you're crossing over the midline. Keep holding here and then release and come back to your third base umpire position. Take a breath in, pull your belly to the spine, and right shoulder lowers down between the knees as you turn to look up at your left shoulder. Elbows are deeply bent. Use your arms to help you support this spinal twist. And release, come back to center. Let's do it one more time. Take a breath in, pull the belly to the spine, broad shoulders. Exhale, left shoulder down, lowers down towards the center of the knees or center between the knees. As you turn to look at your right shoulder, stay here and breathe. And then release to center. Take another breath in. Exhale, right shoulder goes down towards the center of the knees as you turn to look at the left shoulder. Keep breathing, keep holding here as you really challenge and twist your spine. And then release. It should feel good. And then rise up and let it go. All right, let's come down to the ground through Malasana. So a good position for the feet is to have the mat bisect the feet, heels in, toes out, and we'll go down into a squat. Sometimes people prefer a wider stance. That's not uncommon to be tight in the hips, groins, and low back. So therefore, taking a wider stance can be a little bit more accessible. So you just have to experiment and find what works for you. Definitely heels in, toes out, hands at Anjali Mudra, breath in, and exhale, come down into your squat. Once you get down there, if you have a lot of flexibility and it's really easy for you to sink down low, then I want you to lift up a little. I want you to lift from pelvic floor to navel to sternum. Push elbows into knees and knees resist. And lift up through your heart and lift your gaze. Keep it all active as you stay here. There's so many benefits to Malasana, to this squat. And breathe. And then to come out of it, hands come forward. One knee comes down and the other knee comes down. Come onto your sit bones and send your legs forward for Dandasana. So rock back and forth on your sit bones, and you want to add a forward tilt to your pelvis just to help you come into Dandasana. If you're naturally, if there's a, posterior tilt to your pelvis, then you really need to work hard to lift up through the pelvis and almost tilt it forward to be able to sit in Dandasana. So activate your legs by pressing down through heels, pull the toes towards your knees. We're going to lift up nice and tall. I'm going to invite you to hinge forward. So hinge at the hips, don't round at the ribs. Arms descend. And I want you to try to keep the length in your spine as you push your heart towards your knees. Only go as far as you can. If you can hold the toes, go for it. And then go ahead and round the spine, bow the head. Come as far forward as you can. Let gravity help you. Keep feet active. Press down through heels, pull toes towards knees, and then rise up. And let's do that triple warmer hold. Right hand touches left ribs, left hand touches just above the elbow. I'm going to invite you to do some sit backs, go halfway back and come back to upright spine. So take a breath in, active legs, they really help support you here. They're your foundation. Press into your heels, firm up your thighs, and just go about halfway down and inhale back up. Really working in the core here. Let's go again, press down through heels, active toes, active thighs, breath in. I'm going to ask you to hold halfway, pause, really rely on your core. You can release your bind if it's unhelpful. And then I'm going to ask you to go all the way down. Release the bind and let the elbows support you as you come close to the earth. If you hit your head, just go small space. And when you get down to the ground, release everything. Take a nice, big, beautiful, deep breath in. And a beautiful cleansing breath out. And sit in constructive rest just for another breath with bent knees. And you can come into this chin mudra. touching the tip of the thumb and the tip of the first finger, and connecting the lung to the large intestine meridian. Let the breath flow through you with ease. And then let's do the moving bridge. You'll need space for your arms above you. Try to find that you want the shins to be perpendicular to the ground for the best leverage for lifting up your hips. Your arms will be moving, so they're going to rise up with your hips. So press down through your heels. Inhale, lift your hips and let the arms be parallel with your spine. And then just let the arms keep moving overhead till they touch down. Your hips stay lifted. On the exhale, the arms come back. And when they meet the hips, everything lowers. Let's tune in and really get this movement aligned with breath. So find a placement of your heels. When you're ready to inhale, lift the arms with the torso. And then arms keep moving up overhead to the top of the inhale. They touch the ground overhead. On the exhale, arms come back. And when arms are parallel with your torso, spine and arms lower down to the ground. One more at your own timing, your own breath rhythm. And now take your arms out wide, like a T. We'll do the spinal twist. Bring the feet off the ground, pull the knees to the chest, and take them up high as you can. And on an exhale, let the knees fall to the right, like they're a single unit. Let the weight of the legs rest on the ground as you draw your left shoulder blade back down toward the mat and look to the left arm. And breathe. And notice that we're slowing down, warming down. Draw your head back to center. Use your core and draw the legs back to center. Just take a breath in here when you're in spinal alignment. And then exhale, knees fall to the left. Once you've released the weight off to the side, draw your right shoulder blade back down to the ground and look to the right. And breathe. Head comes back to center. Use your core and pull legs back to center. Hands come interlaced on the top of that right bent knee as you send the left leg long. Activate both feet by flexing them. Apanasana. And then switch. Left knee bends, interlace hands on top of that left knee and send the right leg long. Keep that right leg active and inches above the ground. And then let both legs go long. And prepare for the final pose of Shavasana. You unfurl the body long. Walk the heels out to opposite corners and allow the feet to splay open. Your arms you can experiment with. They can be at hip height and inches away from the body or at shoulder height like the T. And then try to let go. This last pose of Shavasana, you'll lie in stillness. The intention is that you are effortless. And try to let your body be held by the earth. With each exhale, see if you can sink a little deeper. Release more of your weight. Really have a sense of the heaviness of the body. So as I mentioned, I'm going to have a little reflection here as you enter Shavasana on the metal element. Autumn is the season when the leaves fall to the ground and begin to decompose. Similarly, the human body naturally wants to pare down, turn inward.
introvert, and begin a season of focused energy. The lungs have been described as a tree in a rainforest that needs moisture to thrive. I ask you to call to mind the image of a tree flipped upside down in your chest, filtering oxygen from the air and expelling carbon dioxide. The lungs are the rhythm maker of the body, and they set the pace for the entire body's movement. Lung qi needs to be strengthened to ward off pathogens and keep the rhythm maker moving efficiently. I'll call you back to attention with the ring of the bell. Staying right where you are, just listening. I invite you to deepen your breath. Just like at the beginning of practice, associate that inhale with the breath moving from the base of your spine up to the crown. And on the exhale, the breath moving down your body, down the spine. And let this breath, this deepened breath, reanimate your senses as you invite small movements by wiggling fingers and toes, moving your wrists and your ankles, inviting your head to turn one way and ever so slowly turn the other way. And as you're ready, allowing your body to move in whatever way feels good. That might mean a full body stretch, or it might mean pulling your knees to your chest and wrapping your arms around your shins and rocking, or both. Take as long as you like, and when you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your left. I invite you to roll to your left. And just pause there, lying on your side, knees bent, maybe an elbow supporting your head. And just tune in with mindful awareness and check in with how you feel. And then check in, how do you feel in your body? They might be the same answer, it might be different. Eventually press off with your hand and your elbow and bring your spine up vertical again. Coming into a Sukhasana, cross-legged position. Keep your attention inward, keep your eyes lowered. And bring your hands to meet at your heart in Anjali Mudra. And bow your head to your heart. Call to mind your intention. And then call to mind the group intention of the metal element in balance. And this capacity to release what no longer serves you, to let go, which cultivates a sense of openness to be able to receive something new. And just calling to mind, the more we practice yoga, the more we can see our body as an ally, our oldest friend, and our steadiest companion. Take a deep breath in. And an even deeper, slower, smoother, silent breath out. And then let's share in offering each other this Sanskrit word, this greeting, Namaste. It means the light in me sees and honors the very same light in you. Namaste. Thanks for your practice.